Okay, Yummy. I think we've broken this down enough. We've talked about the teams enough. There's only one thing left to do, and it's to see the series in action. So let's kick things off with our very first match in the regional playoffs. And Watson and Formal, lads, take it away.
Yes, thank you, Smite and Yummy, for breaking it all down. I mean, you kind of touched on it earlier, Yummy, saying that there was only one goal difference separating these teams from swapping in the standings. And I think that's the best way to describe this match. They're so evenly set up that this is going to be one hell of a first match.
Yeah, I mean, what was it last time these two teams played against each other? 3 overtimes, reverse sweep that went Ground Zero's way. It was fireworks on the pitch, and we're about to see that again, one would think. I mean, what a way to kick off this top four. What a way to kick off, this semifinal day is the two more veteran teams going at it, the ones who have been here before. I think they're going to really set the pace, especially for those rookies who are watching and waiting and getting eager to get in it. As we're getting into it right now, we're already seeing those words go. We're on the pitch and we are underway.
Yeah, what an explosive start, almost resulting in a goal, but Torsos missing off the back, but Spido's there to clean it up. A little bit of panic coming up from Ground Zero there.
Yeah, that was a great start for Cringe Society right off the bat. As you can see, Spido's just dunking it right over the top of Jules. It's going to find that first goal, and great start for the Cringe Society.
Yeah, we're going to have to see if they can bring it back on the second kickoff. You see it there winning a bit of pressure, but a good boom from Torsos going towards net. Forces out a save.
Yeah, forces the save for now. Drippe with possession is going to try and drop it into the box, although it does look like Spidos was able to get a momentary clear. He's still keeping that pressure there. Torsos with the follow through into the corner. No one able to crack this defensive rotation just yet. Here comes a shot. It was Spidos who put it on target. Jules was able to make the save, and looks to be now a turn and a counterattack coming from Ground Zero. Does Deca have the shot? He puts it on target, but it's a little high.
Yeah, Jules looking for the demo there, opening the net up for Deca, but just couldn't find his angle there. Ends up hitting the post, but Express's shot forces a save from Torsos, and Spidos has to do well to get this out of danger, but it looks like it goes straight into the hands of Ground Zero. Looking for a double touch from Express here, but mishits it.
Yeah, Drippe able to clear it out at the nick of time. Two members in the goal at the moment. Torsos is going to be the one to push it out. He is one of the best individual mechanical players, and he's trying it style right there, but Deca puts himself between the goal and the ball. Jules is going to have to push forward. He's going to try to take it past mid-pitch as Drippe, kind of an awkward flip right there, leads to a shot on target. Torsos will catch for now, but Deca keeping the pressure. Spidos looking for the clear, going to try and take it across mid-pitch. Jules reach it right now, and a lot of back and forth, but a lot of mid-pitch challenges. No one really giving their opponent space. Jules with the shot. Good save by Drippe.
Yeah, both teams forcing out some good saves, and it's pretty even. Honestly, it's just that early goal from Cringe Society, and when these guys played in league play, it was just one goal in every game, so that early goal means a lot.
Yeah, but if we're going to look at who has the momentum, I have to say it still is Cringe Society. They're the team that's being on the attack. That's where they're most comfortable. However, Ground Zero, if they can find a quick counterattack, a hole in those offensive rotations, they can equalize in a heartbeat, and just like that, Jules times this game up.
Yeah, just as you said, a little mistake here in net from Spidos. Doesn't get the clearance at all, just goes straight past it. Doesn't read it very well. Torsos can't help him up, and Jules dunks it on down.
Yeah, and that is what the doctor ordered for Ground Zero as they find themselves their first goal. And this kickoff looking fantastic. Deca has all the time in the world, but Spidos able to get there. That was such a great save coming from the Doji. Counterattack for Cringe Society is looking pretty good. Drippe is going to try to play the backboard, but Jules with the demo on the Torsos will stop the attack for now.
Yeah, really interesting kickoff there. Just almost missing it, Cringe Society, and just letting Ground Zero have almost a free goal. Luckily, Spidos did enough to save it in net, and now at the other end, it's forcing saves as Jules will try and clear this in the corner.
Cringe Society, they're not skipping a beat. Yes, they gave up a goal before, but they're still on that attack as much as possible. And when these guys smell blood in the water, they're just going to keep attacking. It's where they're most comfortable as Spidos puts yet another one in. So 2-1 for Cringe Society.
Yeah, you said it best, always attacking. You see Torsos there. Looks like he's going to rotate back, turns around, but in the end, Drippe is the one that passes off to Spidos in the middle, who's never going to miss that shot, and luckily enough power to beat Express.
As we get ready for our next kickoff right here, does seem to be going in favor of Cringe Society yet again. Express having to make a save from out of their goal, and it seems like Ground Zero, they have been clutch save after clutch save, but you can only do too much when it's shot on target after shot on target, and I'm still waiting for that Ground Zero counterattack when they start to feast, and it just hasn't seemed to happen consistently yet.
Yeah, these kickoffs are quite strange. Both teams kind of making mistakes during them. So I've got to say, do you think it's maybe the nerves of that first game of playoffs creeping into these teams?
It could be, perhaps. I mean, Cringe Society, I'm not seeing any nerves from this team. They're playing their style. They're getting the shots that they want. They're keeping Ground Zero largely on the back foot. It's actually Ground Zero, the Feast or Famine team, that haven't had a chance to feast yet. As Spydoge, he's hungry, and he just keeps on eating as he finds yet another goal.
Yeah, hesitates here, kind of baits out, expresses flip, and then just puts it on past him. Spydoge knew exactly what he was going to do. He was always going to put that in. That's a 2-goal lead to Cringe Society in game number 1.
Yeah, exactly. And with a minute and a half to go, things are looking so good if you're a fan of the Cringe Society, a fan of this super team, wanting to see them step up. This is the start you were hoping to see. This is the game style you were hoping to see. However, Ground Zero, they might have something going, or at least it looked to be the case until you saw that mid-pitch clear coming from the Cringe Society side. And once again, Spydoge setting up his team. Tortos goes up and Express gets there first. Jules now has a chance to take it to the corner, trying to set up his team with Drippy. Good at defense off of the back wheels, one would say, as he is able to slow that counterattack enough for the defensive rotations to come into play. Jules, though, does win the 50-50. However, no one's there to follow. Drippy with possession gets demoed, but is still able to push the ball to Torsos. Express needs to win this challenge, does not, so Torsos keeps the attack coming. Play off the backboard, ball bouncing into Drippy's lap. He takes the shot, but Express makes the save.
Yeah, and you were saying before how Cringe Society looking so comfortable on the attack, but the reason why they're always up there is just because they're so quick at getting it out of their own half. Not wasting any time, not trying to bait out any players to get an easy clearance. Just whack it up and win it in the midfield, and it's working. Ground Zero just can't keep the pace.
Oh, but sometimes situations like this can come back to bite him. That was a big miss from Spydoge. However, Ground Zero unable to capitalize, and once again, Society, they're back on the offensive foot as Drippy kind of benefits from a little bit of an own goal, it looked like.
Yeah, it looks like a pinch from Drippy and Torsos here. Puts it on the backboard. Jules doesn't read it correctly and ends up dunking it on his own net. Golden Striker putting it the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's always going to be one, it feels like, in any of these tournaments, and I'm glad we get it out of the way in our first game, as it did happen in the final 10 seconds. It was looking unlikely that Ground Zero would bring it back, but Cringe Society do take this first game 4-1, and looking back throughout the season, this is the biggest goal differential between these two teams to date.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Cringe Society looking the best they've ever looked. I think during the season they had their moments, but we said they needed to bring in playoffs, and I think they're starting to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to look very, very strong for the Society named Cringe. Spydoge getting a nice little hat trick for himself, and this is that team synergy. This is what we expected when we saw that super team. More games like this, and the entire game, they were playing the game they wanted to. That constant Cringe Society attack, those hard offensive rotations, challenging everything at mid-pitch. Ground Zero, they just couldn't really get anything going for themselves.
Yeah, it really felt Cringe Society just kind of dictated the whole pace of the game, and Ground Zero were constantly playing catch-up and chasing after the ball, and it's just not working. I think if they maybe slow it down a little bit, or if they go the opposite way and match them in the pace, then it could work. But if they keep playing the way they're playing, it's not going to work for them.
Yeah, but it's so hard to just say, oh, let's try and get things to go a bit better for us, just because Cringe Society, when they do what they do best, which is, keeping that offensive pressure, you have to crack that offensive rotation, but they're one of the best at holding that fort. Really, you have to go back to, I suppose, to looking at the gauntlet where the Renegades, they showed they were able to crack it. They showed they were able to get that counterattack, but they're not here right now. It's all up to Ground Zero to find that answer, and they didn't have it in game number 1. Fortunately for them, though, it is a best of 7, so they should be able to bounce it back.
Yeah, at least now they can kind of see the way that Cringe Society is going to be playing. They know that they're playing their best, and now they got to try and counteract that and pick their moments of where they can see maybe a bit of weakness in the Cringe Society. Is there any points that you kind of see that they could attack?
I mean, it's hard. We did see once or twice, you know, someone did go up for that aerial play in mid-pitch and there was a miss. However, Ground Zero just wasn't really fast enough to react in those situations. And I guess you got to be ready to capitalize on any chinks in the armor that Cringe Society might have. But as the series progresses, as they get more comfortable, one would have to think there's going to be less and less of those opportunities. So Ground Zero, I mean, they reverse swept last time these two teams played. So we're not writing them off. It's just that was such a strong performance from the Cringe Society. It's hard not to get a bit excited about them.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing to note was those kickoffs were very strange for both teams. I think both of them had moments where it looked like they just missed the ball or really mis-executed their plan of kickoff. So we'll have to see if that kind of carries on into this game number 2 here.
That was a good kickoff. You can see right there, both teams hit the ball. We've solved the kickoff problem as we are back on the pitch. Drippe already going for demos, trying to set up Torsos, who does not have the height for the touch. Spydoge does, but the shot's not quite on target. I do believe Jules was able to do enough to disrupt it. Deca now going for a nice little flick, but it's going to be caught by Drippe, who will pass it back to Spydoge, looking to break the rotation. Spydoge going for that individual play, gets a kind of a dunk. I mean, there's enough space right there, so you probably say it wasn't. Either way, though, we're going pitch to pitch, corner to corner right now. Awkward bump. Drippe, though, maintains possession and takes it out of the danger zone.
Yeah, you were saying before, Ground Zero slow to punish any mistakes. You saw the bump there, and then no one really following it up from Ground Zero, so it just ended up an easy clear. So Drippe, another shot from Drippe on the other end. Just hit card halfway across the line. Is this Cringe going to find an early lead, but Torsos can't find it. Bounces back to Spydoge, and I believe that's the clearance now for Ground Zero.
How did that ball not go in? Drippe is going to want that one back. It looked so good. Now, however, Ground Zero has a chance to put the first points on the board. Jules is going to go up to challenge Spydoge, who actually loses possession. So Jules will take this gift, get challenged by Drippe. Actually does lose possession, but Deca should get there first. He has boost. He has an open net off of the demo, but he doesn't put the shot on target. It's all good, though. Spydoge was there to make the save. Either way, Express's turn to try to set up his team will lose out to Drippe, and now we're finally seeing a sustained Ground Zero attack.
Yeah, we are, but a lot of the time it's just one player kind of doing everything and the other two sitting quite far back in the rotation. I'd like to see maybe a bit of help. I mean, Deca and Express both up there in the clutch playmaker. Jules, the Golden Strike, you expect maybe at least a 2-man attack, not even, or even a 3 if they're really trying to push for it. But all we're really seeing right now is just one player.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes from showing your opponents respect and knowing that if they do find themselves on the defense, one man might not be enough against Cringe Society, as Spydoge is going to put a shot on target. Great read by Deca, slow things down. Jules now has possession, but already the Society team has rotated back. Jules tries to go over the top, but is stopped for now. Torsos in the corner, has a little bit of boost to work with. He's going to use it to pass to Drippe. He's going to go for a backboard pass, but Deca does the read, and Spydoge actually has to retreat. This could be the opening because Jules is already cheated up. He's going to play the backboard. Is that last touch there? Not quite.
Yeah, almost there for Ground Zero. The final shot coming through, and it's good. Jules finds it from the pass from Deca. It was so close to going in earlier, but a good rotation from Jules. Instead of going back, sees this moment, sees the opening, and puts it in.
And that is that aggressive sort of mindset that was missing from Ground Zero in Game 1. They needed to notice those windows and capitalize on them. Jules doing just that, does get the first goal of this series. But here comes Torsos off of the kickoff. He is not going to find the goal just yet. And now Express a bit on the counterattack himself. He has a boost to redirect it past to Jules. Keeps it up in the air. He'll follow throughout the corner, except Torsos was able to read it and actually does a great defensive effort to throw it back to Express. Torsos again following through. Ball stays in the corner, but Drippe's not going to step up the challenge. Deca with space. He goes for the pass play. Spydoge intercepts it for now. Buys enough time for Drippe to make his own clear as he will fall through into the corner. Challenges Express. Semi-wins, but not enough to force out a shot. And once again, it's back to that cross-pitch ping pong.
Yeah, I gotta say, Ground Zero looking a lot better, but Cringe Society not out of this at all. Always on the attack. It's just those counterattacks from Ground Zero finally looking like there's a bit of malice and a bit of determination to put it in the net. We didn't really see it in the first game.
No, but here's the scary thing about Cringe Society. Yes, they're known for their aggressive playstyle, but they still have Spydoge. He was on One Canberra Havoc last season, so they know how to play defensively as well. And that's what makes them sort of this dual threat team, and they can be just as comfortable on defense as on attack, as we have seen a bit in this game. However, they've still yet to find that goal. Spydoge, good defensive effort right there, throws it up to Torsos, who should take it across the middle of the pitch with the boost. Yeah, pass down to Drippe, and that shot's gonna be good.
What a goal from Cringe Society there. Torsos takes it from Spydoge's clearance and goes off, gets the ceiling pass down to Trippe, beats Deca by mere inches to get around that ball and put it on net. And that's an even game with 1:16 left on the clock.
There is nothing more fun in Rocket League, I feel, than great team play, and that's what we saw from Cringe Society right there. Kickoff as well. Double touch attempt from Drippe, not quite on target, so Ground Zero should be able to fix things out. Rule 1 was broken by Torsos. I did see that. You can't sneak that one away from us, but this is a competitive situation, so sorry, rules are going to have to be broken.
Yeah, rules had to be broken there. I think they were wanting to keep it, but with the game on a knife's edge, I think neither team really wanted to risk it here. And I mean, these are the two teams that a lot of people would put first and second, and I think this game will decide a lot going into next weekend, so not really willing to risk it.
Yeah, absolutely. A shot from Deca nearly sneaks its way through. Torsos able to make that clutch save, and now with 30 seconds remaining, can either of these teams end this one before overtime? Spidos goes for a 50-50, kind of loses out, and Deca is actually the one to punch through for Ground Zero. Jules now with an opportunity, plays it out the corner. It's a great pass to Deca. He takes the shot, but it's a little high. Torsos able to catch it for now off the backboard, but Express keeping the pressure on. Deca's so far back, he's going to have to race to get to the ball, but everyone is missing. Finally, it is Drippe who gets the pass to Torsos, but instead gets blocked by Jules. 3 seconds to go. Deca might have a chance to set up his team. He puts it up. Express is a little too far pushed forward. No one's able to catch it from Ground Zero, and we have overtime.
Overtime in game 2. We said this game was going to be close, and we're finally starting to see. I think game 1 was just Ground Zero trying to figure out how Cringe Society are going to play, and I think they've done it now. Now we get to see the battle of the Titans and which team's going to come ahead. Jules doesn't have the boost to get the double touch. Instead, Express will pick it up in the middle, but 2 players in net to clear that one away.
Both of them were coming at that with 9 boost right there. A bit unfortunate at Ground Zero. You kind of were hoping they had a bit more boost, as it only took 2 games for us to get our first overtime. We knew it was going to come. That first game, I'm assuming, is going to be an outlier. Spidos actually misses the catch. Express has so much space and time to work with, yet they can't make it work, and Ground Zero puts it right back in Cringe Society's lap. Here comes Spidos. They'll take game number 2.
Ground Zero should have sealed it there, but Express's pass goes beyond Deca, who just gives it off to Spidos. Drippe immediately goes for the demo on the last man, and Spidos has an open net to make it 2-0 in the series to Cringe Society.
And Ground Zero, pressure starting to cook up a bit, because Cringe Society, it took them a while to warm up in game number 2. It took them in overtime, but they get it done. And Ground Zero, it looked like they were going to take that overtime. They were right there in position. It's just a little bit of a misexecution. And all of a sudden, Cringe Society, well, they're not going to let that go unpunished. And 2-0 up, Ground Zero is starting to look like a must-win, do-or-die game.
Yeah, definitely, but in league play, it happened the exact same. First game went Cringe Society's way, overtime in game 2, Cringe takes that, and then that's where Ground Zero started to reel it back in. So I have to see if history repeats itself here, but I think Ground Zero did look a lot better in this game compared to the game number 1. Just the scoreline in general just kind of shows that, but even in the play style, I think a lot of the time they were backing each other up a lot more than we saw.
Yeah, we saw a lot more of Ground Zero's offense as well. They were able to get those moments where they were able to crack that offensive rotation of Cringe Society. There was, again, a couple awkward misses coming from the orange side in the middle of the pitch, and this time Ground Zero did a better job in capitalizing on it. Now, it didn't necessarily result in a lot of goals, but it's meant more time on that side of the pitch, which meant less pressure, and that's kind of why we saw a smaller scoreline in this one. I think if Ground Zero can keep this up, they'll have more opportunities. They'll find a couple more goals, and maybe that will be the ticket for them to get back into this series. However, if they're unable to, if Cringe Society can go back to that game 1 form, go back to that constant pressure, this might be a roughie for the Ground Zero side, as we are already underway in game number 3.
Yeah, I think the other thing is just complacency in front of net for Ground Zero. I think a lot of the time they're starting to panic. Express especially, you saw it near the end there in that overtime where he just overpowered his pass. I think just a little bit more calmness of his nerves there, and he could have found that pass and that would have been Ground Zero even out the series, but instead gets immediately counted, and we go into game number 3 with a 2-game lead.
Yeah, and Cringe Society, they're looking back in Game 1 form already. Shots coming out from Torsos, Spidos, already challenging so far forward. Drippe as well. They're just trying so hard to stop Ground Zero from doing just this, which is pushing into that orange side of the pitch. However, Jules will lose possession, and here comes the Cringe Society counterattack. Perhaps Deca doing what he can mid-pitch, slows enough for the rotation back around Jules, going to slow the pace, and Deca now, he has an opportunity off of the demo, but no one's there to follow through out of the corner.
Joe's looking angry there, just chasing down the Cringe Society defenders, taking them out of the game, as sadly the rest of his team couldn't back him up on the play and find anything off of that pressure. Instead, it's gone the other way now, and Cringe Society in the corner. And we see a pass in the field to try and force the shot, but no, Jules will find it in the corner, and he'll clear it as far as Deca. Express will clean this up at the other end, sends it back, looking for the redirect.
Yeah, but every single time we're seeing these cross-pitch passes, Cringe Society are reading them like a book and getting critical intercepts. Demo play, but Spidos misses. Torsos on recovery. He's going to look for his own setup, but Express is there already trying to delay. Spidos keeps the pressure on off the backboard, cross the pitch. Jules reads it and actually does crack the defense only momentarily because Torsos was able to rotate back. Spidos shot on target. Express makes the save for now. Drippe loses out in the 1-for-1 versus Express, but Express loses it to Torsos. It was a meatball shot and Jules just able to catch it.
Yeah, Spidos had an open net there, but Express with a good bump to stop him getting around that one. I was going to say before with Spidos' shot, just a little bit more boost would have given him the opportunity to put a bit more power and put it past the keeper, but instead, Ground Zero now have their chance. This will be in the midfield. I believe the Cringe will clean this up, but Jules comes flying through and only puts it straight in front of Spidos.
That was scary. Drippe missing the ball almost cost them that point. However, they were able to stop it momentarily. Express taking it straight down the middle is getting that pressure on Jules. What can he do? He has boost, but he slows the ball down, and Drippe is able to read and stop the attack for now. Spidos taking it himself. He's going to try to play the corner. Deca beats him out, but cannot beat past the second member. Shot on target from Torsos. Jules the save for now. The dunk attempt actually does go Ground Zero's way. Spidos, though, doesn't have the boost, and I have to admit, Cringe Society, they're spending so much boost in trying to slow down Ground Zero, they're not able to keep that offensive pressure on, it seems.
Yeah, not only that, I think a lot of the time when they finally get the ball into Ground Zero's half, there's a lot of misses coming out, notably from Spidos as well, and that's just buying all that time for Ground Zero to kind of clear it out, get some boosts, and mount their attack once again. I think that's where we see the pressure really starting.
Yes, we're starting to see more and more demos come through from Cringe Society as well, which is something I like to see. Get in your opponent's face, take them out of the game, force your opportunities. However, it will be Ground Zero perhaps. Nope, Jules not wanting to catch actually goes back. Let's Express be the man who pushes forward, and he's getting it over the top of a couple defenders, but can't get it past that third man. Jules, though, keeping Ground Zero on the orange side of the pitch. Deca with the setup. He gets demoed forward, and Drippe should be able to make the clear. It's actually a great pass to Torsos, but no boost to fall through. It doesn't matter because the shot was on target, and Cringe Society take the first goal.
Yeah, you take those Torsos, maybe just trying to clear it, puts it on target anyway, and Ground Zero not really respecting that. And not in the position to save it. Instead, Cringe Society take a goal lead with 1:23 on the clock. I mean, if it took that long to find the first goal, it could be that one seals it.
Yeah, but Jules has boost, he has possession, and he has a net in front of him. He's going to play it off the backboard, but defense does enough to get it over the top of Express. Deca, his opportunity to set up his team, but Express is still racing to get to the opposite side of the pitch, and he will not find the time to do so. Spidos goes up, but Jules goes up higher, gets a nice little dunk before losing it back. Express with the follow-through off of the backboard. Good read by Drippe. Deca now throwing it to Jules. He'll take the shot, but Torsos is able to make the save.
Ground Zero still not finding a goal for their efforts, and Express here just buying a bit of time for his team to get boost. Now Deca's got it in the corner, shot, it's good, and it beats the defender from Cringe Society, finds it from the corner. What an angle.
What an angle, and what an individual play by Deca as well. He set it up himself, he placed it out of the corner himself, and even though Torsos was there, that shot just came a little bit too fast. I mean, that was like an 85-degree angle coming at over 100 kilometers per hour. I don't care how good you are, that's going to be a tough one to save.
Yeah, that's difficult to shoot as well, and I think Cringe Society were probably expecting the pass there, almost getting the second goal there, and the shot comes in, and it's good from Jules. That's 2-1 to Ground Zero, and they finally take a lead in the series.
Yeah, it only took him about 15 seconds Again, Deca playing through in the corner, but Jules will take the shot down the middle. Cringe Society went low, the shot went high, and Ground Zero have their first lead in game number 3. They just need to hold on for 34 seconds, and we've got ourselves a proper semifinal series.
Yeah, and a good kickoff here from Ground Zero. Express comes through and puts it good. I believe that's Ground Zero taking game number 3 here. They got a 2-goal insurance. Surely that's enough with 30 seconds on the clock, right?
Yeah, Jules with the dunk sets up Express, and you can see Cringe Society, they were setting themselves up to attack fast and attack hard. However, by losing that 50, Ground Zero was able to find that goal, and I'm with you on this. I think Ground Zero may have just iced the game off of that goal.
Yeah, but
although Torsos actually...
Yeah, the pass from Torsos is good.
Oh boy!
It's at a 1-goal deficit, 20 seconds to go. Could we see an overtime in game number 3?
Oh my goodness, Cringe Society. They're saying, yeah, we can do kickoff goals as well, but when we do it, it's off of bump plays as they find that one right there. A nice little high five with Drippe and Torsos, that team synergy after the goal. You love to see it. Game 3 right now, 20 seconds remaining. Cringe Society need to find a goal, but they are on the back foot as the kickoff went Ground Zero's way. Spidosh launches himself well over the ball as Deca will keep the pressure on. Express actually puts another shot on target, and it's going to find its way into the net. So just when you thought the comeback was there, Ground Zero says, nah, not today.
Yeah, Cringe Society looking for that 3rd goal, trying to tie up the game. So a lot of them are pushed up. Ground Zero just find the space and counter it, and an easy shot from Express is enough to clinch them game number 3, even though they probably should have clinched it 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, it made us a bit nervous as Torsos, oh my gosh,
oh, no.
The delay play making people miss off of the top crossbar and in. Just when you think you can rest easy, Torso says, no, I am a mechanic god.
Oh man, the flick was good and gets the rebound off the crossbar there, puts it in 4 seconds in this kickoff. Could we see it? This would be amazing.
Oh my goodness, kickoff goes in favor of Society, but Deca catches it in the corner, and Jules, playing it safe, gets the demo saying no, no Drippe, not allowed. Ground Zero take game 3.
Yeah, they can finally breathe a sigh of relief after that. They played a great game, but near the end, getting very dicey. I think Cringe Society were just relentless in trying to fight back into that one, but instead it's 2-1 to Cringe going into game number 4. I liked how Ground Zero looked this game.
I liked how they looked as well. However, if that game taught us anything, it's how hard it actually is to beat Cringe Society when they are on form. 8 seconds doesn't matter. 2-goal deficit, yeah, we're still going to fight. We still have Torsos. He's still going to make an amazing play, and it's a bit unfortunate that maybe that highlight might get lost just because the game didn't go the Cringe Society's way, but that 8-second to 4-second goal was one of the best I have seen.
Yeah, that was fantastic, especially a solo play coming out from Torsos, and the kickoff was good. They faked it out, they won their possession off of that, and then just converted it all by himself into the net. And what a great play from Cringe Society. That's why you just can't count them out. I mean, I kind of did myself, and they proved me wrong instantly.
Yep, guilty as well. 8 seconds, 2-goal lead. Can you really blame us? But Torsos, I mean, he's made a believer out of me in the past, and he kind of did so again. But the story should be on Ground Zero because they are the winners of that game. And it feels like they did it by finally starting to adapt and really attacking every single one of those mid-pitch misses, which, again, are kind of plaguing the Cringe Society. Some of these passes in mid-pitch, they're not the cleanest.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ground Zero finally tightened up in the attack as well. Those passes finding their mark instead of mishitting it. I mean, we saw the one from Express in Game 2 in that overtime that really cost them that game. And now they're trying to fight back in the series. And I think they're doing so with some really clean passing plays in the offense.
Yeah, absolutely. However, Cringe Society, they will be the first team to try and set up a sustained attack. Jules, it's on him to break the rotations, but Drippe with a bit of a dunk, it'll stop things for now. Torsos doesn't get his car on the ball, however, so Drippe rotating back is going to be the one who sets it up for Spidosh. We'll try and take it to the corner. Jules steps up, but the pass is still good. Torsos off of the backboard. He was going for the waterfall setup. It's not going to connect, and here comes the counterattack from Jules. Drippe does just enough to make the save.
Yeah, great save from Drippe. They are not easy, very uncomfortable save to make, and manages to get enough to put over the bar, but Jules comes through with a pass from Express and says that save doesn't matter because it's 1-0 Ground Zero.
What a mental game from Ground Zero. Their past 3 shots that have been good have gone high when Cringe Society has gone low, but this time it's the other way around. Jules puts it low right under the defender, and Ground Zero take the first goal in game number 4.
Yeah, not only that, the pass kind of bouncing it down off the ground to put it up for Jules, and I think the player in net, I can't remember who it was, just wasn't reading it at all, thinking that Jules was just going to smack it straight at him up in the air, maybe top of the goal, but instead knocks it down himself and gets it under. And what a great play from Ground Zero, and that's what you need to score against Cringe Society, nothing short of great play.
Yeah, nothing short right there. However, Express, he misses, and here comes a Cringe Society counterattack. Torsos has space. Dripe waiting for the pass, but it's not the cleanest one in the world. Deca did disrupt it. It's a second attempt now for Cringe Society. Jules goes up for the intercept. He has so much space. Only one bit of boost isn't enough. Not quite, because Dripe makes the save.
Yeah, got the flip and had to use it instantly just to keep that shot on, but didn't have the boost to kind of follow it up, and instead it becomes an easy save for Cringe Society, and now they take it back the other way, but nothing really dangerous coming out of that attack, and so it's just back into their half, and Ground Zero looking for the pass.
Yeah, Ground Zero, they're looking for the pass, but Cringe Society, they're looking to break that offense, and they have done just that. Dripe, great pass if someone was there. Unfortunately, Torso's a bit too far back, so Deca now, it's up to him to try and push it past mid-pitch, unable to get it past Dripe, who sets it up with a nice pinch off of the wall, but Jules gets there first. Torsos going to do the same thing, this time for Spido's shot off of the backboard. Deca does get there. Dripe does read the defensive play, however, it's going to throw it right back to Torsos. Great intercept by Express, and the defense from Ground Zero, they've done such a great job in learning how Cringe Society attacks and adapting to it, at least until Spido goes for the solo play. Clutch save by Express. Next shot by Torsos. Express again, keeping that ball out of the goal.
Yeah, Express keeping his team with the lead there. What a save. Some great shots coming out of Cringe Society. Spido's notably, sorry. And then that final shot, Express just comes flying across, reads it perfectly, and he needed to. Any mistake there, and that's a goal.
Any mistake, but none are to be had. Ground Zero, they are fighting back into this series. They are looking to equalize everything up here in game number 4 as Jules trying to set up Deca. It's a good pass. It's off the backboard. The next shot is true from Express, and 2-0 for Ground Zero.
Yeah, I said in the first couple games at Ground Zero, not really looking like a full team on the attack, and there you see it there. All three players linking up in this play. Jules to Deca, baits out the shot, hitting it against the backboard, baits out the keepers, and then Express has an easy shot down onto goal. That's a 2-goal lead, but don't count out Cringe Society as we learned last game.
I mean, we called Express the ultimate team player before. I think that was the team setting him up for once, and it's great to see a goal coming from one Express, who is looking again for a double touch. The shot's not on target. Jules is going to step up, but Torsos does get there first. Fortunately for Ground Zero, Deca is there. However, fortunately for Cringe Society, so is Spido. Just a little bit of ping pong right now. Cringe Society, they're 2 goals down, but we were in this situation last game, and they did bring it back. A minute and a half, I still think it's more than enough time.
Yeah, I gotta say, Ground Zero playing a bit more defensively, obviously with the 2-goal lead, looking to try and see this one up, but I think the best way to take down Cringe Society is just keep attacking, not give them an opportunity to set up these attacks, because once you give them a little bit of space, that's all they need to bait you up, get an easy shot. So we'll have to see if a minute is enough to find it. Express in the midfield does well to beat Dripe there, and now we see ourselves in the Cringe Society corner.
Yeah, that we do, but Dripe still is able to dribble and dunk his way through. Past that mid-pitch, Spidos with the shot, doesn't like his angle, instead takes it to the corner. He's going to try and set up his team. That will be Dripe with the pass to Torsos, who can't quite get there in time. Express actually has a chance to counterattack right now. Deca will be the first one to get to the ball. Does he get the pass? Not quite, as Spidos is able to get there first. A nice demo from Deca, though, does mean the Ground Zero attack can't continue, and Express will find yet another goal. 3-0 for Ground Zero. That might ice him.
Yeah, I've got to say, Ground Zero playing an excellent game here, not only in attack, but defense as well. Hasn't conceded a single goal, and Express just putting them all in now, I think. He's given up on being the playmaker. He wants to score himself.
Yeah, he may have heard, some of that pregame discussion thinking, look, I got clutch playmaker of award, that nice little accolade. I'm going to show you all that, yes, I am clutch. This is the new Express. This is the Ground Zero Express, and you better recognize. Cringe Society, though, they're not done yet. Shot on target from Spidos. Jules is able to make the save. Torsos was going to go for it. It looked like he actually got bumped 12 seconds ago. This one is done. We might see a goal in these final 10 seconds just to add some stats. However, Ground Zero from 2-0 down to 2-2 tied. This team is back with a vengeance.
Yeah, they definitely are. You see it there, closing it out 3-0 in game number 4. We're tied up in this series, and I think that's got to be Ground Zero just winning out in the boost department. They were just constantly stealing the boost from Cringe Society. Meant that as soon as the attack was over, there was no real threat from Cringe Society in the counter. I think that's what really hurt them in the first 2 games. And I mean, if you starve them out of the boost, then you can bring all 3 players up, and we saw them do that.
Yeah, and that was really reflective whenever the Cringe Society were able to get those attacks through. You would see the setup there, but you'd look down and be like, oh, only 9 boost. Can't make something of that. All right, let's try and corner it. Let's try and get our offensive rotation going. But the other thing Ground Zero was doing so well was finding those gaps in the rotation, getting those counterattacks, and enabling themselves to get their own offensive pressure down. Like, this Ground Zero team has adapted, and they're starting to perform. And this is why they're that #1 seed. This is also why this series is so close because, I mean, we're essentially at best of 3 time now, right? There's plenty of time for Cringe Society to go like, okay, this isn't working. Let's make our own little adjustments.
Yeah, definitely. And I think in the first couple of games, Ground Zero was only really getting goals because Cringe Society was making mistakes and let them, they kind of just left the door open for them to kind of find their way back in. But these last few games, Cringe Society haven't made that many mistakes. It's just been Ground Zero really forcing it out, all of them linking up in these passing plays, forcing the keeper's save and putting it past him, and then finally getting that easy shot and that easy net. And it's really worked out for them. And not only that, it's just when you're forcing them out like that, it means that all that boost is gone. So no counter attack to be had. And a 3-0 in game number 4 is looking very good going into game number 5.
Yeah, it's looking very, very exciting. We might be getting our big game 7 to start off the day. One could only hope, as Deca off of the backboard looking to set up Jules, who does take the shot, but Spydoge was there, and that will be enough for a clear, one would think, out of the Cringe Society. Spydoge again is going to try to take the ball, but Deca's going to push forward, giving his opponents no space. Double commit from Cringe Society to try and break the ranks, but Express goes high enough to keep that pressure on, and we are seeing Ground Zero almost adapting the Cringe Society playstyle right now and just not letting that ball get past that mid-pitch. Waterfall set up, caught and read by Spydoge now, who will look to press it himself, but you can see Express steps forward, Jules steps forward, but Cringe Society does enough to try and make the miss. Demo from Express, Jules with the flick, next touch, not quite there as a sweeping save came from, I believe that was Spydoge.
Yeah, what a save there needed to be done because Jules absolutely baited out the keeper with that flick and almost found it off the post, but instead it got saved out, keeping this game scoreless with a minute off the clock, and now they're mounting up another attack. It's just relentless now from Ground Zero.
Yeah, it has been relentless, sort of that reversal of roles right here. However, I did kind of allude to it at the start. Cringe Society, they can play defense. They can look comfortable in these types of situations. They just kind of have to adjust their mindset for it. And so far in Game 5, it looks like they may have done just that because while Ground Zero has been keeping this attack, Cringe Society's defense has been holding strong.
Yeah, and look at that. Jules just winning out in the midfield battle here. And all of that pressure that was starting to mount from Cringe Society, they had the boost to kind of attack there, but just one clearance in the midfield means they've all got to use it to get back and help out that player that kind of lost the ball.
Jules flick shot, it's good because Deca can follow through and assist his teammate. Ground Zero again find the first goal of the game.
Oh, Jules doing everything in attack here, just constantly getting these flicks on Cringe Society, baiting them out, and Deca gets an easy shot to put that in. Great rotation for him to be there for Jules to back him up, and that's a 1-goal lead to Ground Zero. 2 minutes off the clock, and the kickoff goes their way as well. Could we see the second goal? No, Deca pulls up.
Yeah, actually Ground Zero kind of falling back, and that surprises me a little bit, but it could pay off as Jules, again, from that mid-pitch, that's where they're looking to set up their plays. Cringe Society, they're playing so far back in their own quarter of the map right now. It's almost a bit surprising as Drippe gets totally juked out as Jules will find that second goal.
Ground Zero playing with immense pace here. Not a single chance for Cringe Society to really catch a breath, figure out what's actually going on as Express just passes it straight to Jules, who puts that in. That's a 2-goal lead now. Looking again like they're in their Game 4 form. Cringe Society haven't scored a goal in a while.
I mean, that's just such a tough situation for Drippe to be in as well. Getting attacked in that 2v1, he has to commit to one side, and the pass was good from Ground Zero, so they do find that goal. And Ground Zero, yet again, similar, as you mentioned, to Game 4, they're off to just such a fast start. This attack, these offensive passes have been so clean, and Cringe Society's defense, it looked like they may have had the answer at the start of this Game 5, but they're starting to fall apart yet again.
Yeah, we see a nice
Jules
little
with the
demo there, and it works
Follow
out.
through. Oh my
Sorry, you
goodness,
go.
Jules yet again.
Jules being an absolute monster in attack. Finds the demo keeper, and then on his way back, decides to put it in. Oh man, just showing why he was the golden striker. Not only did they have some pop-off games, but that man there just really shows up when it counts.
Yeah, and 3-0 for Ground Zero. Game 5 looking to be going to the blue side, like 3-0, just like, you know, their past 3 games, perhaps, as they look to be winning them 1, 2, and 3, and that will put them at match point. Cringe Society, this is just a bit of a surprise for them because they looked so good in games 1 and 2, and they were looking like that confident team, that team that was expecting this to be their tournament. However, Ground Zero, maybe a little taste of reality saying, you can't look too far ahead, you still got to beat us.
Yeah, and look at this, just not letting them out of even their box, let alone their half. Just constantly putting the ball from side to side, baiting out all that boost, taking away the corner boost. Finally, they catch a break with Spidosh, but he can't do anything against Jules and net, and it's looking like this is just going to get sent back the other way with a good clearance from Decker.
Yeah, that will be enough to slow the pace down for now. Express will go up for it as Spidos actually misses. It does mean Torsos is going to rotate back, but that left himself exposed. Deca tried to capitalize, but won't find that shot to hit the target. Jules now going to go up. Do we see the ceiling pinch? He went for it, but didn't quite have the speed to get there.
Yeah, instead gets knocked down to Express, who didn't really have the momentum to put anything on that. Instead just kind of buys time for his teammates there to get in position, get some boost, and start to mount the attack one more time. Only a minute left on the clock. I mean, we counted them out in game number 3. We said they only had a few moments to score these goals, but game number 5 is a different story.
Yeah, okay, so that goal, it might look like the defense completely broke down from Cringe Society, but that's just a case of all hands on deck, everyone attack, kind of like a hockey power play right there. That's what leaves the goal that open. Cringe Society recognizing how desperate the situation is. With that goal, though, you have to think that definitely will ice this one. 4 goals in 45 seconds. It would take a miracle, or perhaps 3 or 4, for Cringe Society to get this.
Yeah, the mentality's got to be so down for Cringe Society now. I mean, he went up 2-0 in the series. Now it's looking like Ground Zero's going to go 3-2. And in the last 10 minutes, last 2 games, they haven't scored a single goal. So they've really got to change something up. This might be their goal for... Oh, sorry, this is the wrong side of the net. Why would they be in Ground Zero's half? They haven't been there all game.
Look, you know, sometimes you just really want to score a goal, really want to score a point. Just pop it in your own net in garbage time and feel good about yourself. However, 10 seconds remaining. Cringe Society, they're going to drop game number 5. And this is a team that's supposed to be good on the counterattacks. They have a roster that you know is capable of doing just that. I think it's going to be time to see that moving forward as the ball does finally touch the ground. Ground Zero, match point going into game number 6.
Yeah, and I can't really see a way that Ground Zero dropped this final game. I mean, they got to really be making mistakes if Cringe Society want to fight back in this one, because I think both teams are playing really well. I think Cringe Society, obviously under par compared to Ground Zero, as you see in the last 2 scorelines, but it's mainly because Ground Zero is just forcing them in their half. They can't get it out of there, and they can't move on.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it before in between our last games with that mid-boost control. Cringe Society, they just haven't been able to get the momentum off their counterattacks, and it's just been so easy, it feels like, for Ground Zero to turn it right back around and keep their own offensive pressure on. And this has turned into from the, you know, games 1 and 2 were how Cringe Society likes to play. Well, now we're in that feast or famine mode where Ground Zero, they open up the floodgates and they just start scoring goal after goal after goal after goal. And this is such a momentum-heavy team, Ground Zero. I mean, they now have the momentum on their side. And Cringe Society, I do feel like they have the talent to respond to this. They know how to counterattack. They have Spidosh on their team. He's great at these types of situations, but now, as Yummy Cheese Man said before, no more excuses. This is the playoffs. This is where it all counts. It is now time to act because it is match point against the Cringe Society.
Yeah, the only place where I can see they can kind of attack Ground Zero is in that midfield battle. They're really losing out on a lot of those 50-50s, and that's just forcing them on the back foot time and time again. Start to win some of those, start to get in Ground Zero's half, and I think you'll get a lot of breathing room, not only chances on Ground Zero's net, but you'll also stop them from being in your side of the field, sorry. And that's really what needs to happen.
That was such a good kickoff for Ground Zero as well. The ball delivered right into Express's lap, and that's how come you're seeing this attack right now from Ground Zero. Express open open net, but Jules will steal the goal away, and that is 1-0 for Ground Zero.
Yeah, Express taking the playmaker again because Jules decides that he wants to put that one in. He's the golden striker. He's saying, you're not getting in this match. Jules been playing exceptional, and I mean, he gets a little reward there. May have stolen it away, but a great kickoff from Ground Zero. Nets them an early lead in game number 6, and I may remind you, they're on match point right now.
Yeah, absolutely. As I feel like it's been the past 4 games, actually. Actually, no, sorry, past like 5. I don't know the exact total. Either way, Ground Zero, they've been getting that opening goal, it feels like, time and time again. And Cringe Society, they've been struggling in these past recent games to even get 1 point on the board, it feels like, as Ground Zero. Now they are a bit on the defensive side. Drippe with boost, with possession, finally has something to work with right here, but Jules is able to challenge and win that 50-50. Express, though, doesn't get that fall-through touch he was looking for. It does force Deca to go up high. However, he does miss it. Torsos can pass it to Drippe, but he was retreating, not ready to catch that pass, and now Ground Zero will counterattack straight down the middle. Spydoge does enough to make the save.
Yeah, the first prolonged play from Cringe Society we've seen in a while, and it looked good, but a little miss from Torsos near the end. Couldn't find the pass. Spydos gets a shot on target there, but there is a keeper in net. Drippe shot, saved by Deca once again, and they stay 1-0 in the lead in this almost final game if it carries on this way.
That was a missile from Drippe as well, so kudos to Deca for making that save. However, they're not out of danger yet. Torsos going to try and go high, try and play it off the roof, but Deca makes the read. Jules, nice little touch, gets it past Drippe. Deca now will look to follow through, passes it up to Jules, who's going to escort this down into the box. Shot from Express is good, and it is 2-0 for Ground Zero.
Yeah, what a pass from Jules here. Just follows this up, manages to correct himself in the air there. He saw the flips and turns and boosts, lands perfectly under the ball to pass that down to Express. I can't tell you how insane that actually was to control himself there and get in the right position, and then put the pass perfectly onto Express. 2-goal lead now to Ground Zero. Cringe Society need to find something sooner, or it's going to be over for them.
Woohoo! Express almost doing it himself. Instead tries to drop it into Jules' hands, who actually does lose possession. And here comes that counterattack from Cringe Society that was missing. Drippe gets one on the board.
Yeah, Ground Zero thinking that they were going to close the game out there and then, but instead mishits that shot. I believe it was Express near the end. Got an extra touch when he was trying to put it in, and it made it go the other way and helped Cringe Society out by just clearing it himself.
And that was that counterattack. That was the element of the game from Cringe Society that had been missing in our past few games. Spydoge going for a bit of a solo play, can't get that last pick. Jules actually passing it down to Deca, but the ball bounces a little bit too high. Either way, though, Cringe Society defense, they are missing it here and there. Spydoge has to make a pretty last-second save. Good one from Torsos to get Express off the ball. It does force Jules to use boost to try and keep some semblance of pressure. That is Ground Zero right now. They're blowing that boost, so Cringe Society is going to be a bit patient until they look to counterattack. Spydoge might be able to do it here, but he doesn't get the ground pin she was looking for.
Yeah, looking like a midfield battle at the moment. Neither team really getting a good possession or attack going. Spydoge will miss out to an awkward bounce off the wall there. Gets the pass down from Torsos, but instead gets beaten by Jules, none other than Jules. I mean, he's played so well in this series. Who else would it be?
Who else could it be? Ball waterfalling down, yet the shot not quite there. Express able to take possession away as we're actually going for a bit of a slower play right here. Patrick Sand, Drippe saying, no, none of that. I'm going to speed that away, but he almost dropped it in a very scary place as Jules had a chance to make a shot. Torsos gets it under Deca, loses possession, shot by Express again. Unfortunately, the top crossbar will play spoiler for Ground Zero as this blue side attack shall continue. Torsos trying to pass it, but Deca reads it, takes a shot, and that is another 2-goal lead for Ground Zero.
Yeah, Deca just in the right place there, reads the clearance from Torsos and puts this just past him on the shot there. Just in that bottom corner, needed to be there, or else Torsos would have saved him. I mean, what an angle. We saw him do it earlier in the series, and he's done it once again in game number 6, trying to close this one out without it game number 7.
And I can't blame Cringe Society for trying to rely on defensive passes. That's how they scored their 1 goal in this game. However, Ground Zero has been able to read the past 3 or 4 of those and get those intercepts and keep this offensive pressure, that time finding a goal. It feels like everything Cringe Society tries to do, Ground Zero has had that answer, and that is why they are looking to possibly take this match in about 1 minute and 16 seconds. Now, Cringe Society, we saw him get a couple last-minute goals before, and Jules almost lets that one by him. Deca, fortunately, there to make the save.
Yeah, played so well all series, but makes the mistake there. Almost cost his team the lead. I mean, there would have only been 1 goal insurance, and that should be easy enough. But Cringe Society keep this attack going. All of this pressure coming from that mistake, and just can't really find that shot on target. Those Ground Zero just bullying them out of their own half.
Yet Torsos was just literally getting bumped by all 3 sides right there, as everyone from Ground Zero did not want that superstar playmaker to make some of those superstar plays. However, Cringe Society, they are still desperate. They are still trying to find that goal. Fido, shot on target, great read, great save by Deca. 30 seconds remaining. Can Cringe Society find that goal? You have to feel they need to get it on this attack. Fido goes for the double touch. Deca reads it off the backboard, and he gets that big clear.
Oh, so close to finding it there. Instead, Spidosh went for the bounce shot instead of just powering it down, and may have cost him the whole series here as it comes into 10 seconds left. 2-goal lead to Ground Zero. They could close it out with a game in hand.
Yeah, it looks to be the case, as with 2 seconds remaining, Jules gets 1 more shot on target, won't find the net, but it is all good as Ground Zero, our #1 seed, will advance to the winner's final.
Yeah, we'll see them next weekend, and Cringe Society are going to have to play another game today against the loser of the next match. And man, what a series that was. Cringe Society starting so strong, and then Ground Zero just switched it on almost out of nowhere. So I got to say, I'll have to give it back to Smite and Yummy to really break that down, because that was insane.
Look, thanks, Watson. And man, what a series. I mean, I don't think we could have asked for anything more. Ground Zero absolutely popping off. Yummy, before we get into MVP, because I think everyone knows who that's going to be, let's break the series down, because it started off so well for Cringe Society. You're going to have to unmute yourself there, mate. I know you love to talk.
It was a crazy repeat of history. We saw a sort of reverse sweep again. We in league play, Cringe Society went up 2 games, and then all of a sudden we see that completely turn on its head. 4 games in a row this time instead of 3. But you know, I think you're right in terms of Cringe Society. Game 1, I've always criticized them for having slow starts, but Ground Zero to me were not having a great start at all. I mean, they almost missed the first kickoff.
I mean, once Ground Zero started to turn on, though, they switched on. They looked like a completely different team, and just like, to put it in simple terms, they went Super Saiyan. It was incredible. They looked like an insane team, but one player stood out above the rest, and he's the MVP for me, but I want to get your opinion on it, of course. Jules. I mean, what a god this series.
Jules, he didn't make a single mistake until the last game where he completely whiffed a ball. It almost ended up being a goal, but he was 100% the MVP. Every single touch he made, it felt like he was taking out at least 1 player, usually 2 players. He worked really well in with Deca. I mean, you have to say as well, in terms of MVP performances, all 3 players from Ground Zero do deserve a mention. It was a very big team effort starting from game 3 onwards. But Jules, even when the entire team was popping off, he was the one who looked incredible, slowing the game down, speeding it up, just really controlling play. And I would say the best I've ever seen Jules play in any series, and he has popped off multiple times in his career.
Yeah, and with that, Jules and the rest of Ground Zero do get to move along that winner's bracket, and they're going to face the winner of the next series. That's going to be Fury versus Mind Freak. And ladies and gentlemen, that series is going to be coming up after the break, and it's going to be a great one as well. So make sure you stick around, and we'll see you in a few minutes.